Action Station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 24 minutes before 10 o'clock. Ever since I was a little kid, that song, Over the River and Through the Woods, to grandmother's, ever since that song. This time of year, I always think of that. I always think that's what I want to do one of these days. I want to travel someplace with a horse pulling me on a big old sled in the snow, and I don't care how bad it is, because it's going to be great. I'm just going to enjoy just going someplace that way, and stay away from the airports and the taxi cabs, and I'll just go over the river and through the woods, and there's Grandma.
Yeah, there you go.
And of course, my grandma's not here anymore, but
we'll have to find
somebody else's grandma. Yeah. Stephanie Oswald has been with us before. It's an honor to have her back on with us again. The most fun topic I think there is traveling, and she is an award-winning international travel expert, the editor-in-chief of Travel Girl magazine, and I think last time she was on with us, she was in an airport, I think.
Yes,
when she
I believe
spoke to
so.
us. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Yes, it is always fun to talk about travel. I love your idea of being in the horse-drawn sleigh. And, you laugh about it, but you can make that happen. A lot of ski resorts in particular have great opportunities where you can ride in the sleigh, and they'll take you off to a dinner at a yurt or off in the woods. And it can be so fun to do something like that. That would be fun.
I would love to do that. Yeah. Where are you calling from?
Well, today I'm in New Orleans, my hometown, and I'll tell you what, we do carriages, but they're not on sleighs. It's mule-drawn carriages through the French Quarter, and that can be really fun to do during the holidays. And
I was going to go to the French Quarter.
You can kill two birds with one stone. Go horse-drawn carriage to the French Quarter.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and it is hard to believe, but Thanksgiving's around the corner, and right after that, we've got this wonderful little mini shoulder season between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and there are some fabulous deals to be had. It's a great time to travel because, let's face it, nobody travels. They want to travel right around Thanksgiving and right around Christmas, but if you can be flexible, then that is a perfect time to take off. And I can give you a few reasons, too. And I know there's a lot going on in Orlando, but there is so much all up and down the coast, and even if you pick a tradition such as tree lightings, you could put some of these on your bucket list and then check one off every year, pick a different place.
That's a good idea.
Everywhere from, because tree lightings are so fun. And, for example, we have, here in New Orleans, our tree lighting is on November 19th, so it's very early. But so that's pre-Thanksgiving. But then Atlanta does one right on Thanksgiving, and then after that it's just a whole long list. Philadelphia, December 1st, New York City, December 2nd, Boston and Washington, D.C. on December 3rd. Myrtle Beach on December 13th gives you a little more time if you want to do white sand instead of white snow.
Yeah.
But all these destinations, great opportunities, and if you can see the actual tree lighting, it's so exciting. There's always music and just so much fun and festivities and pictures with Santa. It's always such a good time.
There's so many of those things. You know what I wanted to ask your opinion on? When I was much younger, I would travel a lot more than I do now, and I would use travel agencies, and they would do everything. They would take care of the airplane flight, the hotel, if I needed a cab or a rent-a-car, they would do everything. I don't know. My question is, the online things that you can do these things with now, and I've used them, so it's not like I'm, trying to spare their travel agency. But has it hurt the travel agency business?
Well, I wouldn't say it's hurt it. I would say it has transformed it, just like everything online has transformed the entire industry. And yes, you can be your own travel agent to a point of doing research, and there's so much information available to us online, but that's a plus and a minus because there is so much information online, it's very overwhelming. So there is still plenty of room for a travel agent to help you. And one of the best gifts you can give yourself this season is peace of mind. And I've got 3 ways you can do that, and it all involves getting some help. And number 1, use a travel agent. And if you don't have one, ask friends, ask coworkers. If your company has a travel agency that they use for booking your business trips, well, ask them. There's probably a leisure branch of that as well, and you might even be able to get discounts because you're an employee of that company. And then also online, the American Society of Travel Agents, ASTA.org, You can fill out a little online form, and they will, take your zip code and your specialty that you're looking for, and they'll help you find an agent that's near you. So, yes, use an agent. That's definitely one of my tips. Secondly, this time of year, consider travel insurance, and AIG Travel is my go-to for that. They've got Travel Guard insurance. It's moderately priced, about 5% of the value of your trip. And this time of year, when you're fighting holiday chaos and winter storms that can cause all kinds of surprise delays, surprises that we don't like, it's a great time to have travel insurance.
What does it cover?
Concierge.
What does travel insurance cover? Yeah.
Well, here's the good thing about travel insurance, and you really need to go to travelguard.com, and they can spell out every detail for you. But basically, every trip's different, so you have all different kinds of coverage you can get depending on if you want to have medical insurance. If you should find out what your insurance covers, and then your travel insurance. A lot of times the reason it's good to have travel insurance is because your own personal health insurance may not cover you depending on what destination you're going to. So very important, especially if you're going to go on an exotic trip. But even for simple things like lost luggage or surprise delays or cancellations because of bad weather, those types of things can be covered by travel insurance, which can only, it's only a small percentage of your trip, and that can really make a difference. Same thing as with the travel agent, having a phone number. If you've got your travel insurance phone number right there, something goes wrong, you call them. Somebody else can worry about all that stress. Really important. And then also concierge desks at your hotel, wherever you're staying. Make sure, if you're not staying at grandma's house and you're going to be at a hotel, here's a little tip. You don't have to wait till you get there to talk to the concierge. Call them ahead of time.
Oh, my.
We have a few calls coming. Can you talk to our listeners? We've got some calls coming in.
Absolutely.
All right.
Sure.
Good morning. You're on the air with Stephanie Oswald. Good morning. Well, that person bailed out. Let's try another one. Good morning. You're on the air with Stephanie.
Well,
go ahead. You're on the air.
Oh, and I don't want to be on air.
Okay.
We hear about people when they're going to go to a resort or something like that they ship all of their items in advance and they don't go through the regular luggage on airlines. Is that the trending thing?
Well, it's something I talk about every year during the holidays because people they just insist, I want to have everything with me. And I know there's some security to that, but the reality is if you want to have a smoother trip, especially during the holidays, you want to travel light. And shipping your gifts is part of that. So, confirm the address before you start shipping, but have everything sent to a neighbor or have everything, remind whoever family, have your family members reserve one room or one closet that's going to be for stuff that comes in the mail, and so they don't go snooping and ruin the surprise. But yeah, ship those gifts. You don't want to have to carry them with you. And if you do insist on carrying them, don't wrap them because that can be a hassle through TSA. But really, shipping the gifts is the answer.
Do like the border people? Are they okay with like a virtual copy of your passport, or do you have to have the paper copy?
You need to have the actual passport. And also, that's I'm glad you brought that up, Larry. You want to also apply for your passport card if you don't have one because the rules are changing all over the place. It's different for each state. But eventually, we're all going to need those passport cards. Very important. Now, that said, as a backup, something else you want to do can help with peace of mind is having photographs of each of your documents. So whether it is have a photograph of your license, have a photograph of your passport and your passport card. And not only take a photo of it, but email it to yourself so that, goodness gracious, if you accidentally lose your tablet or your phone, you've still got that email that you can look up and have that copy of that document with you because it will help you get a new one if you need to.
Have you heard of these, Stephanie? Have you heard of those little square things you put in your mouth that's like the size of a stamp to freshen your breath? They're like little paper thin things. You know what I'm talking about? Like Listerine slips or something?
Yeah,
okay. I read somewhere that there are shampoo strips like that. They're larger. They're like the size of half a sheet of paper. Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to take liquid shampoo with you and liquid laundry detergent. It's these sheets that when you add water to them, they become the product. Have you heard of these?
Yeah, I've definitely heard of those. They also have shampoo that comes in a powder form. So you can just kind of, it's not a liquid form. It makes it easier to travel with. And, those things are all great, and keeping them in your carry-on is a great idea. But also, again, it always makes me crazy seeing people lose all their stuff at airport security because they're bigger than the 4 ounces. Buy it when you get there. Or, just, like I said, borrow from other people. Borrow gear. If you're going skiing, don't bring all your heavy gear and your boots and your jacket. Borrow it from somebody there. Or go to a thrift shop at your destination. I mean, that can be a lot of fun, too. And, again, I know it all takes time, but the hassle of dragging everything through the airport and paying the extra money to check your luggage, it's really worth it if you can change your schedule a little bit, so you can do some thrift shopping at your destination, borrowing that gear, and then again.
So what is your idea? Which one place you haven't been to in the holidays that you'd like to see? I think we asked you this once before. Do you know where I want to go? I want to go where it looks like the Christmas card. I want to go someplace that looks like that. I don't know where that.
In Germany.
A lot of places do. I will tell you, back when I was in college, I spent one Christmas in Paris, and I will say that was really a lot of fun. So that can be big cities. I know, big cities and beaches. Those are my 2 favorite things. So going to some of those big city Christmas lightings or Christmas tree lightings, or heading to the beach. I'm all for going to the beach. And here in New Orleans, I'll tell you what, we have a lot of fun down here for the holidays too. So and really for me, it has to do with finding those unique traditions. And I don't know if you've ever been here, but we have a tradition on Christmas Eve, and I have to say I've only done it one time, the very first year I was down here, and I need to do it again. And it's again, we forget about these things in our own backyard. But there's a parish, the St. James Parish. It's about 30 or 40 miles upriver from New Orleans, where they light bonfires on the levee on Christmas Eve. And it's so cool because it's these giant bonfires, and they were started back in the early days so that they could give Papa Noel, which is the Creole Santa Claus, help him light. It lights a path to show Papa Noel where to come to deliver his gifts.
Wow, Papa Noel, the Creole Santa Claus. That sounds like a children's book, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Probably is a children's book. Can you stay with us through the break, or do you have to run?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
Okay, good. So we'll take a little break, and we'll be right back with Stephanie Oswald.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be warm and humid on this Monday with clouds and sun, along with a shower or thunderstorm in spots this afternoon. The high 82 to 86. Mostly cloudy, warm, and muggy tonight with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, mainly during the evening hours over the interior. The overnight low 69 to 73. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun, warm and humid with a shower in the area. The high 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Central Florida Eye Institute is the area's leader in laser vision correction. From high-definition refraction surgery and LASIK vision correction to custom cataract, glaucoma, and diabetic treatment, you can count on Dr. Crowley and his effective, friendly staff to provide you with the quality care you deserve. Call 352-237-8400 for an appointment or more information. That number again is 352-237-8400. Looking forward to service your vision needs.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new
we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
All right, 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. By the way, this segment of AM Ocala Live is brought to you in part by Dr. Thomas L. Crowley at Central Florida Eye Institute. Be sure to go over there for all of your eye care needs, whether it's something as basic as getting a new eyeglass prescription or something maybe more serious like diabetic eye treatments or LASIK surgery, glaucoma treatments, retinal surgery. They're all under one roof over at Central Florida Eye Institute, and they're not too far from where we broadcast, not too far from the Paddock Mall. They are at 3133 Southwest 32nd Avenue. That's kind of sort of just behind the mall on the Sears side. Give them a call at 2 877-8400, and be sure to thank them for sponsoring AM Ocala Live. One of the most fun topics, I think, especially this time of year, is traveling. I think it's this time of year and summer. I like traveling in the this time of year. Stephanie Oswald is on the phone to give us some tips about traveling stress-free. I'm guessing. Do you plan a lot of stuff out and like way in advance? Is what I'm trying to say. And does that save money when you do it months in advance?
Oh, it absolutely does. I mean, to answer, that's such a hard question, because the truth is you can find deals at any time, but two of the easiest ways are, one, to plan way in advance, because for the most part, the sooner you plan, the cheaper your airfare is going to be. But then the other side of the coin is, if you're very flexible, you can often get some great last-minute deals, because what happens is, as you get closer and closer to something, now this doesn't usually count for the airlines, but for everything else, the closer and closer you get to something, they'd rather see those hotel rooms full, they'd rather see those cruise ships full than have them leave empty. So the deals get really great right at the last minute.
When a person is going to travel to anywhere, any kind of a destination, they like to do research on what's in the area, what they should go see and everything, but should they leave open a couple of free days? Because when you get there, you might discover something that you never knew existed and want to see it.
Absolutely. And you know what? Overscheduling, I would put that right up there with overpacking, because you always want to leave time. One of the joys of travel is being able to be spontaneous. And that can be very hard when you've got a big group or little kids. But I do think it's so important to leave a little extra time to, take that detour off the highway, or go visit something that you didn't know about until you got there, or getting, sometimes you're talking to somebody on the plane and they say, hey, did you check out those, have you been to those gardens, or have you seen that skyscraper, have you been to this restaurant? So taking time, leaving a little time in your schedule so that you can do something spontaneous, very, very important.
I don't think I've ever seen you till just now. I'm looking at your video, Travel Girl Savvy 6 NYC Midtown video. I just went to your website.
Oh, that was fun.
Travel Girl Inc.
Well, good.
Okay, now here's the thing. This is the only, New York City is the only city that I could take you to and then show you stuff that the normal tourist wouldn't find, because I grew up there. Same thing you could probably do.
Oh, wow.
Well, you probably could do it with any city, because you go to so many cities.
Well, she's in New Orleans, though.
But yeah.
She'll be able to show the people the...
But that's the one thing I want to ask you about. If I go to New Orleans, for example, what is your recommendation for finding that? See, finding that place that might... do you know what I mean? That won't be on the radar.
Well, sometimes it's the simplest things that can make the biggest difference. I'll tell you what, I was lucky enough to interview Anne Rice recently, and I asked her, what are your favorite things to do when you come to New Orleans? What are some of the things? And she said some of the things that I know, and I agreed with her 100%. They're things that I tell people too, so it made me feel good. She validated my answers. Number one, ride the streetcar. And you know what? It'll cost you like less than $2, and you just get such a feel for the city. And especially during the holidays, going down St. Charles Avenue, let the streetcar driver do the driving. That's fun. Or walking around the cemeteries in New Orleans, which sounds spooky, but you know what? They're beautiful, and the architecture and the poetry that you see on them, gorgeous. So those were two of her ideas.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah.
That can be translated all over the South. There are beautiful, beautiful cemeteries and gardens. I think there are so many gorgeous gardens that people forget about. And during the holidays, like Callaway Gardens outside Atlanta is just the Festival of Lights. That's a tradition that's been going on and on for years, and that's just gorgeous. And I think they have horse-drawn carriages that can take you through it as well, which is a lot of fun. Brook Green Gardens, they have Nights of 1,000 Candles. That's near Myrtle Beach, and those are hand-lit candles. I mean, finding traditions like that, things that can only be done in a specific destination.
Yeah.
It makes for some nice memories. And you guys, you're so close to Epcot and Legoland and all of the theme parks. There's so many theme parks there, you can't possibly visit all of them. So going there during the holidays, or picking one and saying, okay, I'm going to try this.
That is what we like to do.
Because don't you dismiss it too much, because you're like, oh, it's right here, we can do it any time. But doing it during the holidays can be extra special. And
that's one of the things you bring up is the pampering, because you talk about bringing items like that to pamper yourself during your trips?
Yeah, well, you know what? Pampering can even be little things that help you be stress-free, like bringing along essential oils, or bringing along a favorite family picture, or following some feng shui and doing some Zen travel. And I'll give you another Twitter account to follow is Feng Shui by Licia, and there's some tips that come out there, and I'm going to tweet some tips out as well, and I'll give you guys some more. My Twitter handle is @TravelGirlSteph, and just those little things can make a big difference when you've got some lavender, some calming essential oil lavender to bring with you. And again, those things come in solid form too. I was thinking about, you mentioned the shampoo that comes in paper form. Yeah. You can get perfume in a solid form. You can get, shampoo, perfume, anything. There's so many. Everything that is in a liquid form can pretty much be found in a solid form if you look hard enough and look online. And those are great stocking stuffers too for travel girls on your list.
And the medicine is a huge issue with people when they travel. So how do they know that because they like to travel with their medicine in their purses or their carry-ons as opposed to putting them in the suitcase that they check in. How can they make sure that they won't be rejected because they can't afford to have the medicine being lost?
No, Robin, that is such a very great point. I'm so glad you asked me about that. A couple of tips there. Number one, don't take your medicine out of the original container. Or if you do, for some reason, maybe you're putting it into like a pill box with the different days on it, bring the original container with you that has your name and address, because that's very important when you're going through security in case you get asked questions. You want to have proof that this is your medicine, and also to let them know what it is. So do that. Number two, write down your medications. You should have a list of any medication that you're on and keep it in your purse so that if something happened, you spilled it or it fell out of your bag by accident or whatever happened to it, make sure that you've got that information with you so that you can, because most drugstores are going to be, especially if you're traveling domestically, you can get a refill sent to your drugstore right away. But having that paperwork with you, having a copy of your health insurance, your current health insurance, very, very important. And when you go through TSA, that's the thing. You can have the liquid medicine. You are allowed to take that, and even for children, but it has to be labeled. It has to be. You can't just have something in an empty container that's not labeled. They won't let that. That won't fly. But literally,
right.
But,
Stephanie, you have a new fan. I know we've spoken to you before, but I think I didn't realize you did all these videos. So I'm going to be watching your videos. I love that. I used to watch Samantha Brown, and then she retired, I guess, because she had a baby. So I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching you now. Yeah. So we need to wrap it up, Stephanie. You gave us two websites that I know, TravelGirlInc.com, and I went to Travel Guard. That was for the traveling insurance, right?
Right, exactly. TravelGuard.com.
TravelGuard.
And then I'll give you a couple more. Sure, ASTA.org if you're looking for a travel agent, ASTA.org. And if you like the idea of heading to the beach, visit MyrtleBeach.com. And, of course, visit Orlando.com right in your own backyard if you need to check on dates and such. And if you want to come to New Orleans and check out those awesome bonfires, NewOrleansOnline.com.
All right.
Oh, cool.
Good stuff. You got me excited about traveling again. Over the river and through the woods.
Great talking to you guys.
On Amtrak or on an airplane. Stephanie, thank you so much. If you're ever around this area, definitely knock on the door and come on in.
I totally will. Thank you, Larry. Take care. Happy holidays.
Thank you. You too. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Protest at the University of Missouri last night. Calling for University President Tim Wolf to resign over discrimination issues. Grad student Jonathan Butler's on a hunger strike.
There's a lot of incidences that are going on campus, and administration has failed to take tangible actions to really make campus safer for not just black students, but all marginalized students.
32 black